Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Now, Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. In each weekly show, you get to hear the fascinating ways that other people have discovered the genius in themselves and what they were able to accomplish because of it. And at the end of tonight's show, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. Now, all over the world, people have many, many diverse interests. And in that vein, people have asked about different occupations, different areas of life that have highly interested them. People want to know how highly successful people have managed to achieve their genius mindset when they're utilizing the gifts that are seen in their name when we use Namology Science. So how does someone express their creative talents, and how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that everybody benefits? Our expert tonight is Isa Herrera, who has developed her genius in the area of relieving pelvic pain in women. Now, Isa is a licensed physical therapist as well as an expert in integrative pelvic floor therapies in the field of women's health. She developed her expertise in diagnosing and treating pelvic pain by helping over 10,000 women in her New York City-based healing center called Renew Physical Therapy, and this was all since 2005. She pioneered the use of integrative modalities like Maya abdominal massage, low-level laser therapy, sound healing, and Andean energy techniques with traditional evidence-based physical therapy in ways that had never been done except for at her healing center. Now, it has since become very mainstream to talk about integrative approaches, but she was one that's been there in those trenches long before it was a hot topic. Isa Herrera also spent years as an adjunct professor at Hunter College in New York, teaching pelvic floor techniques to third-year doctoral level physical therapy students. Now, she was always frustrated that there was not a broad level of teaching about pelvic floor issues in schools. Even her medical, her alternative health, and fitness professional friends all tell her that they have not received any formal training in pelvic health. So you can see why she's so passionately pushed to get her pelvicpainrelief.com school online up and running. She's also authored 5 books. Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show, Isa.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Oh, my pleasure. Now, Isa, most women wouldn't know what pelvic pain is until it occurs to them. And first, some might even not know where the pelvic is located in the body and how they would know if it was the pelvic that was hurting. So please start at the very basics and educate all of us.
Oh, sure. Okay. The thing about the pelvic floor, I call it the relay station. I actually call it Grand Central Station because I live in New York City. And these are the muscles that are vaginal muscles, right? But it's not just the vaginal muscles. It encompasses almost from the lower part of the ribs all the way to the bottom part of the hips. Because they're so centrally located, they have multiple functions, right? They stabilize the pelvis. They give us incredible connections with orgasms. They also support our organs. They are sphincteric, which means they close off the sphincters so we don't leak on ourselves. And they also have a sump pump, which means that they create circulation in the pelvis, which is really important. So I think that a lot of we're just not women are just not taught about these muscles, either in gynecological exams, or we're not taught in sex education when we're going through high school or whenever sex ed is being taught these days. And so sometimes many women suffer in silence, thinking that there's nothing that they can do about these problems that can sometimes um, be sort of like leaking or pelvic organ prolapse. So these muscles are like a little basket, right? And they hold all our organs in. And when the muscles are weak, things can drop into the vagina and create a lot of pressure and a lot of discomfort. Some women can have intimacy pain. Some women can have menstrual cramps. Some women can experience constipation and digestive issues because of their location and their connection with other systems in the body. Some women can feel an ache in the pelvis, like a sciatica in the pelvis. So
Okay,
these
now
are
I
the
don't even know
common
what
things.
sciatica means, so go back a little bit.
So sciatica is sort of like, think of it like a throbbing pain, like a nerve pain inside your privates.
Okay.
That's what that would be like, yeah.
And so you figured out a way to help people. How do they know it's that and not something else?
Well, that's the thing is that what happens is I have this thing called the Dr. Rose Show because it can mimic so many other things. Sometimes women will get surgeries, sometimes laparoscopic. So a good evaluation is really important, and working with somebody who actually knows what they're doing and is very familiar with these muscles, because these muscles can mimic other things, right? They can mimic pain, they can mimic, they can give you, they can involve multiple symptoms. So they can be confusing. And I think the average medical, who, if you haven't been trained, can be very confusing, which I think is really super important to work with a gynecologist or someone who actually knows how to assess and test these muscles.
So, what caused you to become interested in healing pelvic pain for women?
Oh, that's a great question, Sharon. Thank you so much for asking. It's funny that the day that my daughter was, the day that I birthed my daughter, she birthed my purpose, right? Because honestly, I was like really just doing my own thing, and I was doing a lot of sports orthopedics, and I actually love sports orthopedics, and I was treating a lot of low back pain, which I'm sort of famous for. And then I had my daughter, and I had no idea that these kind of things can happen to a woman. And I'm like, I had a master's degree in physical therapy, and this it wasn't even taught in school, which is why I fought. So I went back to Hunter and I insisted on teaching this topic because we professionals need to know, even just to make a decent referral out. And so here I am, I'm leaking on myself. I can't sit to breastfeed. I can barely move. I kept going back to my doctor. And he said, everything is fine. You look good. This is normal healing time. And by my third visit, I don't know, I had like this light bulb that just went poof. And I was like, there is something very wrong here, and I need to find answers to help myself. And so that started my search on how to heal the pelvic floor and how to bring back the vitality so that I can sit and just do normal things, like sit and not have to wear a panty liner and not leak on myself. So it's really interesting how sometimes our own suffering, is what brings our genius about, right? What brings out the thing, I never thought that I'd be doing this for a living or even doing this or even writing a book about it. And so that's how my purpose was born. It was born when I had my daughter.
When when you went through that, do you think that could be a cause for some women to go through poor post depression, after they have a child because they're not getting that help and they think something's wrong?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now, Sharon, I was very depressed. I was at my wit's end. I would cry every night and I thought, oh my God, I must have the baby blues. So I thought I also suffered from postpartum depression. Of course, I went to the doctor. They give you they give you antidepressants, and those things didn't really work. And what I realized was that if my physical body was in so much pain, how can you not be depressed? How can you feel like yourself if you can't even like breastfeed your kid because you can't, sit, or you have to wear a panty line, or you have to say no to sex because it hurts too much. And so, yeah, I think that pelvic floor dysfunction, which is the umbrella term, can definitely be a contributing cause to postpartum depression for sure.
Well, and when you were saying that they gave you pills for the depression, I thought, oh my gosh, then that affects your breastfeeding because it goes straight to the baby.
And
So,
what, yeah.
I mean, that would make me nervous right there. So, this is the part of the show where we get to interpret a portion of our guest name. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So, your name says that you're very family oriented and very much into oneness, and that everybody on the earth is part of your big family. It says that you love to include others and you like to be included. It says you're a natural leader. And even if you're not the assigned leader, everybody's going to come to you to get the answers anyway. It says that you're very likable, that you've made yourself likable, but you're not going to change who you are and able to get liked. Your name also indicates that you can learn anything when you study, and you like the teacher right there because you don't have any patience for the answers. So you like the teacher really close to you so you can get immediate answers. But the minute you've caught on to the foundation, it's like, go away, leave me alone. I don't need you anymore. Thank you ever so much. But please, now you're micromanaging me, leave. Okay. It also says in your name that as a child you would have been taught something about sex that was either inappropriate or that you corrected later because you thought, I don't agree with that. And it also says that you either got too much alone time or not enough alone time. So from there, we need to take a break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X Zone Broadcast Network, and on the website, knowthename.com. There's a link. Now, after the break, we're going to find out how Kegel exercises may not be the answer and what to do if experiencing painful sex. Stay tuned.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shamans worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Shamanic healing is the key to personal empowerment. Why? All 4 levels of our being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, must be addressed for us to enjoy balanced, healthy, abundant lives. Yet there are few provisions for spiritual or energetic healing. Shamanism, found at the root of all cultures, is a very effective spiritual healing modality. To find quality shamanic healing you can trust, regardless of where you live, look no further than Find Your Path Home Long-Distance Shamanic Healing Program. All Path Home long-distance healing practitioners have been trained and certified through Path Home Shamanic Art School. Change your life. Live abundantly. Schedule a long-distance shamanic healing session with Wilda Wieka or one of her quality practitioners today at findyourpathhome.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net, and there's a link on knowthename.com on the schedule page. Now, our guest tonight is Isa Herrera, whose website is pelvicpainrelief.com. Now, Isa, doctors generally don't know what to recommend for pelvic issues, such as painful sex, except for that a lot of them recommend Kegel exercises. But you were saying that in your case, on your website, that didn't work for you. So talk to us about the benefits of Kegel exercise and what does work if somebody's having painful sex.
Okay, that's a great question, Sharon. Thank you so much for asking that. Now, the thing that I want everybody to women who are listening and men, the whole entire audience, is that Kegels are like real medicine, right? They're like medicine, and they should be taken very seriously. And I think that there's been this whole media play that every time something's happening with a woman's lady parts, their go-to answer is go do a bunch of Kegels and everything is going to be okay. But what I found over the years is that typically women who suffer from pelvic pain, sexual pain, have muscles that are too tight, too inflexible. They can have multiple trigger points and even spasms in them and sometimes even scar tissue. So if a muscle is under that duress, the pelvic floor muscles, and if the woman is experiencing intimacy pain, then she really is not a candidate for Kegels, because Kegels do work, but the majority of practitioners, and I think some women don't understand the nuances of them, right? So I have something called the reverse Kegel.
Keep going.
When the pelvic floor muscles are too tight or they're too hypertonic, it's the other word they call it, hypertonic, or they call it a non-relaxing vagina, which I love these medical terms, And if a woman is in that state and then she does a bunch of Kegels, what's going to happen is she's going to become more tense.
So it makes it worse.
It makes it so much worse. But what I find is like 30 million women in the U.S. suffer from chronic sexual pain, 1 out of 3. So 1 out of 3 should not be doing any Kegels. They should be doing the opening, the reverse Kegel, something that I coined about a decade ago, the relaxation and creating fluidity and flexibility in the vagina and in the pelvis before they embark in something like a Kegel, which is serious medicine. And if done incorrectly, can make situations worse, can even give you pain. And so they're not allowed to squeeze, right? Because there's too much tension.
So don't you have something on your website that, like a video or something, that literally illustrates how to appropriately do a Kegel?
I have so much stuff on my website. I mean, I am all about making sure that this information gets out there. So I probably have a video, yes. And in my programs, I have a live gynecological model because what I realize is that a lot of women, I don't know if it's the media, I don't know if it's the MDs, I don't know what the energy is, but the energy is all for Kegels to contract, contract, contract. But you can't do a Kegel if you don't have normal flexibility in the pelvis, right? If you don't have the proper coordination, because if something goes up, it must come down, right? Isn't that law, like a physics law or something like that,
Yeah, it is.
right? So if you're squeezing up, right, and you don't relax down, then you get stuck in the contracture of the pelvis. I call it a contracture. It's like really stuck, right? So I start everyone in my programs with the reverse Kegel and creating that flexibility, even though sometimes it can make them worse, but at the end, will give them the absolute true power that they're looking for.
So most of the major acupuncture meridians in the body transverse the pelvic floor.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens to this energy if your pelvic floor is unhappy, as you call it?
You know what? I find that with the energy of the pelvic floor, I think there's 17 meridian lines that travel through the pelvic floor. I find that women feel out of sorts. They feel disconnected. They're not grounded. They feel like I mean, this is the word that I hear a lot, and I felt like this myself. You feel sort of broken. You feel like something is wrong with me. Like you can't get it together. You can't even receive love because everything is so painful. Everything is so tight. And so it keeps women, I think it disconnects women from love in a way and from their true vitality.
Could that also cause moodiness in women?
Well, yeah, I mean, imagine if like one thing that I know about pelvic pain, having experienced it myself and treated over, I think it's 14,000 women now, is that it can make you crazy. I mean, for me, it drove me into an insanity, into a massive depression of darkness because I didn't know. I just felt like there was something wrong with me, right? Because I wasn't really, even though I was a professional, I wasn't educated in this body area. So I felt like, what did I do wrong? I mean, what happened, you know? And then the situation kept getting worse because I kept doing Kegels. And yeah, I think it can make you despondent. It can make you sad. It can give you an array of emotions, of all the whole rainbow of emotions.
So this is something all husbands ought to know so that when their wives start acting a little bit crazy, they can say, go get your pelvic floor checked.
Seriously, or get your pelvic floor massage because I think that the way we do the way we do breast exams on a monthly basis, we're encouraged to do that, right?
Right.
The everybody. Why are we not taught as young girls to know our intimate anatomy? I mean, the majority of the women that I've treated, which has been tens of thousands, don't even know their unique anatomy, right? Don't even. So why are we not encouraged to do monthly vulvovaginal exams? Isn't that also the other part of we're not just two breasts, we're a whole being. And because the pelvic floor is so energized and has so many meridians and so much um, tied to it, and it's really important for us just to know for our own health. So I think that internal pelvic massaging should be something that's taught to everybody, and all women should know how to do this, so that we can have, vitality and beautiful sex and amazing orgasms and just feel really like we have control over our bodies.
So I have a question here. Is having an unbalanced pelvic floor, by any chance, could that also cause hip or knee pain?
Oh, that's a great question. Absolutely, because one of the deep, I used to treat a lot of hip replacements and knee replacements, and but besides that, because the pelvic floor muscles, and I'll go back to the anatomy really quickly, one of the main hip muscles, the obturator internus, you can access through the vagina. And many times when women have hip pain or sciatica, which is that burning, throbbing nerve pain, or they have SI joint pain, sometimes I'll go internal or I'll teach the woman how to do it for herself. And many times, her pain and her symptoms go away. And now, as far as knee pain, I think that's tied through the meridian lines, because I had several clients, and when they do the pelvic work and when they do the internal massaging, their knee pain goes away. And I'm always thinking about, like, why does this happen? And I think it's because the internal work and the exercises and the breath work is opening up the energy portal, and there's something that's blocked.
Well, I was going to say, I know so many people that have suffered from sciatica nerves, and so you're saying they should get their pelvic checked first before they're trying other methodologies for the pelvic. I mean, for the sciatica.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sciatica, what do? They give you an MRI. Sometimes they'll give you an MRI to rule out, a herniated disc, but sometimes they'll give you like an injection, or they'll put you on steroids, or they'll put you on muscle relaxers. I mean, there's 1,000 drugs that you can take. But I find that many times when you see a pelvic floor physical therapist, or you're doing your own internal work, that relieves much of the symptoms of the burning and the sciatic, because of the interconnections of the lumbar plexus with the sacral plexus and the nerves, right? They're all interconnected. You can't separate. We can't compartmentalize our health anymore. We got it, right?
When I had sciatic nerve, I have such sympathy for people that have that pain. I decided to heal it a different way. I wasn't going to take any drugs, and I didn't know about you then. And so I flew to Europe, and I went to actually Vienna, and I said, I haven't seen this city, and I went walking 10 hours a day. And I did that every day until when I woke up, I wasn't in pain anymore.
Good for you. That's a beautiful story.
Well, I just figured if I walked enough, I would work it out. And I literally walked 10 hours a day, but I had to go someplace that I really wanted to see so that I didn't mind walking.
I think sometimes I call that the pleasure principle, right? Because as women, sometimes we forget that we need to have joy and pleasure. And then when we focus on that, and I'm just not talking about sexual pleasure, I'm talking about just deep joy. I'm just talking about having a beautiful cup of coffee in the morning and sitting there and just smelling the coffee. I think that maybe the whole Vienna thing was like, maybe it threw you into a pleasure where, I mean, when I think about it, right? Because I'm constantly analyzing everything.
Well, it was my way of working it out, because I realized that when I walked a lot, that it didn't hurt as much. And so I thought, okay, I just need to keep walking until I've literally walked this out. Now, Louise Hay says in her book that we get that sciatica when some person is bothering us, and that's how we get it in our bodies. But anyway, we need to take another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X-Zone Broadcast Network Station. And on the website, knowthename.com, on the schedule page, there's a link. Now, this show is dedicated to helping people that have pelvic pain. After the break, we're going to see how avoiding sex due to this pain that some of her patients have resulted in getting better. Stay tuned.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Isa Herrera, an expert on knowing how to stop pelvic pain in women. Isa, you were starting to tell us a little bit about the unbalanced pelvic floor with hip and knee. Did you want to add anything to that before we continue?
No, I think we covered everything pretty nicely there.
Okay, then I want to go on to yoga poses. And in yoga, there's core exercises. And can some of those core exercises cause more pelvic dysfunction? And how would you know?
Well, I think that anytime we do any kind of activity, right, we need to listen to what our body is telling us after we do the activity, right? Your body's gonna message you. It's gonna tell you, hey, listen, this is something that really works well for your body, or something that doesn't. And what I find with yoga is if there's too much gripping or power yoga, and the woman suffers already from a tension in the pelvis, it could make the situation worse. So with the yoga, it's all about being mindful, right? So I think that if you find yourself really gripping in the pelvis, right, yoga is about releasing and letting go and creating flexibility and strength too, that we must focus the breath into what I call a vaginal breath, right? Like where you're breathing really deeply into the pelvis, so that you're creating a connection between the relaxation of the body and the relaxation of the pelvis.
You know, when you've treated patients, do they ever get embarrassed because of what you're talking about or what you're teaching them how to do?
All the time.
I was going to say, I mean, we're all taught to be so private about our bodies. I just think that could be incredibly embarrassing.
I think so too, but I think there's so much shame, right? When it comes to women's problems, and women carry so much shame with them, and then we become silent over them. And I think that the moment that we open up and we're vulnerable and we tell the world exactly what is going on with us and we ask for help, then the shame starts to dwindle away, because we start to realize that we're not the only ones, right? It's when we try to keep it really hush hush and quiet and try to sweep things underneath the rug that I think that it causes the embarrassment in the conversation. And by the way, this is not a normal conversation, right? We don't typically talk about our pelvic floor, although we should, because it's a primary focus. I believe it should be a primary focus of every woman's health.
So what age would you recommend teaching children about this pelvic floor?
I think at the same age that we are having the big talk with them, whenever your child feels is appropriate. Like for my daughter, that was like, she read my book, I think she was 5. I didn't know she was reading my book. All of a sudden, I see my book in her room. I'm like, what are you doing? And she was reading Ending Female Pain. And in there is all these diagrams. And I'm like, okay, I guess the moment is now.
That's young.
I was like, all right, I'm not ready for this,
I was going to say, I think the parents are more not ready. I remember asking my mom questions, and she said, "Your dad's the doctor. Ask him."
Yeah, that's
Don't even bother. So, why do you feel that holistic treatment is really the only way to go when it comes to being empowered to heal your pelvic floor?
I think that's a great question. Very few people actually ask me that question. I think that, first of all, our bodies respond to natural lifestyle medicine first, right? And
Yeah.
so all should be done with food, with exercise, with meditation, with breath work, with massage before we go into more invasive techniques and more invasive therapies, right? Even the American Urological Society um, says that the first line of defense for any kind of bladder issue and incontinence is pelvic floor physical therapy, which is a holistic branch of medicine, right? So I'm a firm believer because I've seen it over and over again. Thousands of women heal by doing the techniques that make the most sense, right? For the body. The body heals when you pay attention to it, when you take care of it, when you eat right, when you reduce your stress, and when you exercise it.
Okay, so this may sound a bit obscure to some, yet I'd like to address urine leakage, as I personally know way too many women who have undergone surgeries to stop the leakage. And if I'm understanding what you're saying, it could have been possible for some of them to avoid surgery and simply heal the pelvic.
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that, Sharon. And I think that the main there's a big missing gap here, right? When the woman goes to her gynecologist or her urologist, and the first thing that they recommend is a surgery, and the white elephant in the room here is that most doctors and urologists and even gynecologists, which is absolutely insane, are not trained in medical school about the pelvic floor muscles. So they they do what they know, and what they know is to give you to recommend a surgery if you go to, or to recommend some sort of drug. But if they knew about the pelvic floor, the way it worked and the way it could be trained and the way it could be brought back to its essence, then they wouldn't make that recommendation, right? So I think there's a big lack of education.
So when a woman goes to see her doctor and possibly suspects that she might be having pelvic pain issues, what questions would it benefit her to ask her doctor?
I think the main thing here would be first align yourself with a doctor who understands about pelvic pain.
Well, that's why I'm asking. How would you know if your doctor does or doesn't?
You would have to really go around and search and see what their qualifications are. Because pelvic pain is a pelvic pain specialist is a very niche branch of medicine. The majority of them highly educated on pelvic pain, and hopefully they also understand that pelvic pain, one of the big culprits of pelvic pain, is trigger points, myofascial tension, scars, spasms in the vagina, and associated muscles. So if you go to a pelvic pain, the first thing you want to make sure is that the practitioner is examining, assessing the muscles. If they don't do that and they go right to a medication or right to whatever, then you need to find yourself and align yourself with somebody who knows what they're doing. Because in that point, if you're not examining the muscles and you're not assessing them, then for me, you're missing a big part of the treatment for your patient.
Well, and you would definitely want to try that first before you did something more invasive like a surgery.
Oh my God, but then I've treated so many failed surgeries. I mean, 12 years in New York City, I've seen everything, everything. And just recently, I had this one young lady. She just had a sling surgery for her bladder, and she's still leaking. And I'm like, well, did you do at least preconditioning training for the pelvic floor muscles before you had nothing? Nothing. And now we have this surgical thing that we have to deal with. And then on top of that, we have to retrain the muscles, right, to get her to stop leaking.
See, I just know that that's happened to a lot of women that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
And
very common.
yeah, and I always think too, when you were saying, we need to educate each other, but us women do talk about those things.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about it, especially if something like if you gone to a doctor, or especially if they recommended something, if you did something that worked, if you did something that didn't work, I think, there's still a little bit of shame around this. And there's still some embarrassment. I think that we have to just let that go and really remember that this is a sisterhood, and that we all rise and thrive when we help each other and when we talk, because we can't keep things in silence anymore.
Oh, that's for sure. Now, normally doctors don't get trained in nutrition, along with your friends were saying that we're in the medical industry, indicating that they're not being trained in releasing pelvic pain. Are there other areas that you're aware of where doctors simply aren't being trained, so that it's more advisable to seek out specialists like in nutrition and in pelvic pain?
Well, I think, also I would say with, if a woman is experiencing depression, I think that sometimes they need to be, examined even more. Maybe there's a nutritional component to it. Maybe there's some vitamins that she's off. So I think that they're really working with functional medicine first. I believe in functional medicine as the first place to go to do this investigative work.
So how would you know if a doctor is well trained in functional medicine versus any other kind of medicine?
I think like everything else, you really want to do research. Like for me, before I go see a doctor, I know what school they went to. I will know where they went. I know I get referrals. I don't see anyone, and I don't recommend anyone just go to anyone. Get a referral. Call them on the phone, speak to the front office, say, hey, how many times does this doctor see someone with chronic sexual pain? Is this something that they normally see? Is this something that they normally treat? Because you are talking to the front office first, right? But right. I think we should just do our research. I think we just can't go to a doctor because he's part of our insurance plan. That's just not going to work anymore.
Well, when I had an insurance plan and they gave me the doctors and they said, you've got to pick one from this list. And I said, read me all the names. I'll pick by the name to find me a good one.
Well, at least if that's, sometimes there is no choice. But if they do give you a list, I would go through every single one of those MDs on the list, and I would do my investigative work, right? Because it is your body. And you want to trust it to somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Because half the doctors graduate in the lower half of their classes, my dad would always say.
I didn't know that.
We need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out what Isa has in her name that has assisted her that you just might have in your name as well. Stay tuned.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Isa Herrera, whose website is pelvicpainrelief.com. Now, she's taken her skills to a level where she's able to share her secrets with others to enable them to rid themselves of pelvic pain. So I want to start off this section with, you've written 5 books, Isa. Is there any of them written for the layperson that really every woman should read so they'd be better educated?
Yeah, I wrote all my books for the layperson, actually. It just so happens that all the professionals buy them too. They do, because it's the only place they can get the info. Yeah, they can go to Ending Female Pain is an amazing self-guide manual, and also Female Pelvic Alchemy.
Okay, so both of those, and we'll put those names on our website, knowthename.com. Also, all of the things I'm asking Isa about that she's referencing her website, I have direct links to them on knowthename.com on the schedule page under today's date. All you have to do is click on it. You can find out how to get a hold of Isa very easily, and all the links for her free stuff, everything is written right there for you for easy use of Isa, because Isa's website is quite extensive. So, Isa, you've been so generous. You share a PDF, The Ultimate Guide to Happier Lady Parts.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, what a useful thing. Anyway, I just looked at it. Would you tell us about that and why people are going to want that Ultimate Guide to Happier Lady Parts?
That's actually one of my most famous guides, and I put it out there for free. I think that women are really gravitated towards that guide. I think the title's pretty cool, but also it just gives you like immediate tips that are very actionable. And women get the guide, and it shows them, different types of poses for yoga. It shows them some breath work. It shows them something about the core. So it's like 10 steps, but it's not so crazy that you can't do it. And what I did with that guy was I said, what is the quickest way to get from A to Z? What is the most actionable thing that a woman can take to help heal herself? And those are the things that I put in the ultimate guide to lady parts. So it's got a little bit of everything.
Now, I want to confess that a friend of mine heard you on a different radio show, went and got that ultimate guide to happier lady parts, and she took your quiz, called me up and said, you have got to meet this lady. And that's how I connected. So,
oh, how awesome. I'm so happy that people are getting the info, the women are getting the info.
And sharing it.
And that's beautiful.
So you also created this quiz to get you off of the Dr. Road show, as you call it, onto the road of recovery. So I just looked at that as how cool is that? And to me, this was just a testament proving how much ISA truly cares about making a difference in the lives of the 30 million women who suffer daily. So talk to us just a little bit about this quiz. And again, guys, the link is on my website.
Well, this quiz is all about, a lot of women don't know if they have pelvic floor muscle dysfunction. So this particular quiz was a point system that it was 0 to 100 points, and gave you a point system and said, if you fall from here to here, you're doing really great, you're cool, keep doing what you're doing. If you fall in this category, maybe you should be seeking help. And if you fall in this category, like you really, really need help. Now I'm also, so that was basically more of an awareness quiz, but now I've created a quiz, which I love quizzes, that's going to tell you exactly the type of pelvic floor muscle you have, whether it's too tight, too relaxed, or a combination of. And that was so much fun developing that quiz. It was a little hard because it's really difficult to to give an assessment about the type of pelvic floor that you have, but we managed to do it, me and my team and my partner David. So that one's going to come out soon too.
How cool is that? Okay, so now you also have the Pelvic Alchemy Masterclass, which is live. Mm-hmm. So you get your questions answered live. Talk to us about that.
The Female Pelvic Alchemy is one of my programs that I launched. As a matter of fact, I have it's closed right now because I opened it and closed it, the live component of it. And what I do with that is I take everyone through my Female Pelvic Alchemy program. I'm going to reopen it again in February. And for 3 months, we go through all the material together. And I answer everyone's question. And we have a private community, a sisterhood that we all go to, and then we share our experiences. And then, of course, I have the Female Pelvic Alchemy Jumpstart, which is for those women who don't need the live component, and they can get that program anytime they want.
So generous of you. Amazing. If you could change one thing about people's understanding or how they look at the world, what would that be?
That's a great question. The one thing that I would change is the mindset. I would encourage women to know that they hold the key to their own healing, that their inner guru lies within them, and to listen closely to the messages of their body and not to be afraid to take action to heal themselves.
Okay, so is there anything else that you're currently working on that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, I have a big surprise coming. I'm doing a membership, which I've never done before, but so many women have asked me to do that, which is sort of like a virtual red tent, I would say. And it's going to be pretty fantastic. I'm actually going to release that in the next 2 weeks. I've been working for months on it. And I wanted to create something where women can come and have a safe place where they can express themselves and get expert advice and have a curriculum that they can go to and share their experiences. So this membership is a sisterhood, but at the same time, it's very actionable. And at the same time, it's about mindset. And I'm going to bring in guest speakers on a monthly basis to come and talk about relevant topics that I think the whole community will understand. So that's my big thing. I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've never done it before. I have no idea how it's going to play out, but nothing venture, nothing gain. And I really want to bring something where it's very affordable, right? And where women can all come together and bond and share their experiences, their healing experiences, and help each other along their healing journey. So that's my new thing.
I think that's just incredible. So if somebody wanted to find out more about that, because that's not on my website yet, where do we go?
Oh, wow. I forgot the URL for that. It's pelvic pain relief. Just message me the contact. And yeah, just pelvicpainrelief.com. I'm actually going to put something up there. It's called the Pelvic Wellness Collective. I really thought that was a sexy name. I said, I want to give it a nice name, because everything is in the name. And so it's the Pelvic Wellness Collective, and there'll be a graphic up there where you just click and I'll send you information. I just did a little blog about sisterhood, and I put it at the bottom of my blog. So I'm a big blogger. I love blogging, and you'll find it on my last blog called The Sisterhood. Because it's not completed yet, you can just click there, and I'll put you on a list, and when it's ready, I'll give you a shout out about it.
Okay, guys, the minute I can find it on her site, I will add it to my website so it's easy for you to find, because I just think that's incredible. Now, give us one more time the 2 books that you first recommended out of your 5 for people to start with.
If you have chronic sexual pain or any kind of vulvodynia, vaginismus, Ending Female Pain is the book to go to. If you're suffering from leaking or pelvic organ prolapse, or you just want to have amazing orgasms and better pelvic health, Female Pelvic Alchemy is the book to go and check that out.
Isa Herrera, it has just been a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate this. Thank you. 1,000 thank yous.
Be prepared, surprised, and pleased when you get to experience Isa Herrera's work. Her website, again, is pelvicpainrelief.com. It is a wealth of information. I was all over it. As you guys can tell, that's where my questions came from. Just amazing how much she shares. Isa's name excels at being able to put herself in someone else's place and thus genuinely feels empathic with them. This is found in the letters S-A. If your name has a combination with the S first followed by the A, located anywhere within your name, you too have this empathic, empathetic capability. Do you know where your genius lies? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, host of the radio show Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which can be heard every weekday at various hours right here on xzbn.net radio and X-Zone Broadcast Network. And there's a link on knowthename.com on the schedule page to this show and all of the shows. It brings you right to the X-Zone and lets you go through very quickly and find the show that you want. If you wish to learn how to read a person's name or to know more about your own name and how you can discover your innate genius, visit my website, knowthename.com. Give yourself the gift of a session. It helps you to live to your best and highest when you find out exactly what your name says about you. And it's really easy to schedule an appointment with me when you visit knowthename.com/services. Now, name readings also make a fabulous holiday gift. And we've got a Black Friday special that if you buy 3 gifts for somebody else, you get your own for free. So all you have to do is email us at info@knowthename.com if you care to take advantage of the Black Friday special that is good through December 3rd. Now, this is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off for one last time because this is my 124th show and my last one. God bless and good night.